Okay, cool. Matty Smollen, thank you for coming down today, mate.
Pleasure.
And we'll dive into it straight away, mate. Do you want to give me a bit of your background, obviously being in the property industry most of your life, most of your adult life? Background mostly in the resi space, all in the resi space, but I'll let you kind of do it a bit more complex than what I can give, mate.
Sure, man. So I have kind of known not a lot else but real estate for most of my life. My family has been involved in real estate for a number of years. So I was involved in GRA and offices. I came up kind of through that network. But I spent a lot of time working externally in kind of high ticket tech sales and account management style roles overseas. So,
nice.
I've sold real estate in Northern Sydney, done a lot of admin support roles within the industry, but then I went over to do like call center industry work in the States. So I was based out of Latin America doing fly in, fly out tech sales. So what I was learning while I was over there was a lot of systems and technology that's used in external companies. And so when eventually I came back to Australia, I rejoined McGrath in the middle of COVID to head up their recruitment. So 27 office network in the McGrath company-owned space. And we were essentially recruiting centrally out of Brisbane on Zoom for the whole country. And this is a really awkward time because people were in lockdown. Recruitment generally in real estate was focused very heavily on the face-to-face coffee meeting. And so to try and even move that into a space where you get someone on Zoom to recruit was challenging, to say the least. But this is where I kind of found my love in real estate systems. Because right around that time, I kind of went, well, this is no longer a kind of traditional face-to-face coffee meeting. This is a B2B sales system. So hired an associate, got them to do the lead setting. I'd go through and do the Zoom meetings. I'd built out a whole flow as to how we'd kind of handle the person through the process, what touch points they'd need, when they needed it, what communication. And then that also spurred off for us to create what I was calling the McGrath Accelerated Prospecting System, which meant that we would take people with zero experience, put them through a 18-month training program and pump that the other side as a junior real estate agent. So the objective of this is how do we eliminate the associate out of the agent team and move it from just straight to the junior agent? Because agents in resi, and I'm sure it reflects in commercial as well, aren't always equipped or have the resources or the time to train someone with no experience. So by trying to bring that in centrally, we were trying to essentially eliminate that problem where we'd have churn of people who are potentially good talent. And
It's almost like an apprenticeship program.
So right around that time was when McGrath went through some ownership changes. So project got scrapped, and it meant we learned a lot through the process. And so coming off that, I went to work in the prop tech space for a while. I was head of sales for a couple of startups, and eventually rejoined McGrath to go through all of their social media through the company. So I'd set up a program where I was meeting all the different principals and lead agents, doing an assessment of all their social media and pumping out this is what you should improve, this is what best practice is, and which really got me kind of deeper into that more coaching space as well. So from there, it seemed like a kind of natural fit to move just straight into performance coaching. And so I was working with some of the top agents around Southeast Queensland. I was working in Tony Adota's business. I was doing work for Kollosche and other top agencies around. I was doing a lot of coaching work with McGrath Southwest Group. It's like a massive geographic southwest Sydney McGrath Group. And then Kollosche and I got together and decided that there was a gap in that business around systems as well. It's an incredible business. There's such amazing talent, and that's what's really driven the growth. Michael himself, he's top agent in Queensland, and he's pushing to be top agent in the country in the coming years, and I think he can do it. And you've got other really amazing performers in there, but because of the age of the business, it didn't really have advanced systems. It just had talent, tech. They're throwing a lot of money at big tech solutions, and it's about how do we bring all this together. So that's what I'm doing there. So I've joined Kollosche full time. Title's the sales planning and performance manager, which is a mouthful, but
Can you shorten into an acronym?
Someone will figure that one out, I'm sure. But what I'm doing now is a combination of coaching. So I'm still coaching the agents fortnightly, but the big focus now is about how do we create ecosystem inside the business that maps together the people, the process, and the technology. And we're kind of still in draft mode of that now. It's only about 6 weeks into the project, but going through all of the agents, interviewing everybody to a kind of set selection of questions so we can feed it to an AI and summarize it essentially. Without ChatGPT, I couldn't do what I'm doing because I'm a one-person department now as a result. But from that, we've discovered some really simple insight as to what are these guys doing, what are their pain points, and now we're going to attempt to solve it in a way that we can ideally scale as the business wants to grow.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the driver of why I wanted to chat to you on the first podcast of this, because I think I have a personal opinion that the resi world's 5 to 10 years ahead of commercial, and it kind of always has been, whether it be on marketing systems, profile, how they go around the business, how they treat it as a business too. Because I think we generally still live in that world, like you were talking about when you're first setting up that McGrath accelerator, where it is very like person to person, let's have a coffee together. I think we almost sometimes complicate it, try and make it more complicated to fill in the time, if that makes sense. Whereas the resi seems to be, especially the good operators and good officers, like you're saying, like the Kollosches of the world, they look at it really as that B2B solution. How can we refine this down to a process? Mm-hmm. Because really, I think your person to talk to about this sort of thing, you can refine it down to that process so it's replicable, however that word's it. And you can push it, you can train better on it. The organisation has a culture and a strategy and a system, how it can be better performing, and also the business owners have a more efficient business. Mm. There's less wasted time.
You need to create tribe in all organisations, but sales in particular, because in the resi space, most people are a contractor or a corporation.
Yeah.
There's very few employees in real estate. Yeah. So it's very hard to dictate. Yeah. You can't just tell people what they should be doing. You have to bring them on a journey. And so if you're coming up with new concepts, they've got to be socialized. They've got to have buy-in. They've got to, the people you're working with and trying to change, because like change management in real estate is a hell of a beast. And while, yes, there are some things we do really well in resi, and I'm sure we'll get to it specifically around training. Yeah. I think that's something that resi does really well. There's an established training industry in resi real estate. You look at the conferences that go on, there's your celebrity trainers, but even from there, there's just like, there's probably more money going out into real estate training than there is GCI in the industry. But the point is that there are, that's a very mature industry. You've got 3-4 decade long trainers who are still operating in the industry. Yeah. But from a tech and people change management point of view, it's very difficult because the pathway of how people come into the industry isn't very structured. Yeah. So a lot of people who come straight from school going on to be a real estate agent. Yeah. They're kind of either ex-tradies or ex-sports people, or people who've come from other sales industries who kind of either want to move into bigger ticket sales, or that's just kind of where they end up from a referral, or they just think, I want to be an agent. And then generally what they'll do is they'll arrive at an office and someone will go, there's a phone, there's up your data, and off you go. Yeah. They get 2 or 3 years in the industry, start making money, and they don't actually know how they can make money. They're just like, now I've got 300-400K in GCI, I've never made this much money. Yeah. And when you try to tell that person to change, they freeze because they're scared. They don't even know how it works.
I was going to say, have you gone through that process with a few now? How's the pushback been? Or has there been anything common that you see that I guess are the misgivings that they have that you kind of really pull back into?
So let's use 2 different examples in currently where I am at Kollosche compared to where I was at McGrath. And this is no fault to McGrath, it's just the nature of the scale of the company. And so because there's 110 odd offices, trying to make changes is delicate, because now all of a sudden you're dealing with completely different levels of skill, knowledge, culture. You can't control the environment in the same way as you can at Kollosche, which is one office. It's a big office.
But at least there's one central hub.
There's one central hub, right? And the guy with the name on the door is there at the front line. So easiest piece when you talk about change management is, I can go to Michael and get his buy-in and get him to talk about it. And everyone goes, yeah, cool, we're heading in that direction. Yeah. And so, but I mean, if you're trying to change any kind of scale, it's difficult because you can't have the personal touch to it either. It's very hard to get everybody's buy-in when you've got 1,000 people that you would need to canvas. It'd take too long. Yeah. So this is where, if you're still in that startup scale up phase, like now's the time to be heavily focused on what your systems and process look like as you grow. Yeah. It may feel like it's too much now, but if you plan to be more than 3 or 4 agents, now's the time to be investing into those
it's
processes.
easy to have it set up the drunk backfill after time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how have you found, so that process where you're interviewing the agents at Kollosche to kind of find pain points, was there any one common pain point that you're finding? Or is it kind of varied?
Yeah, there is. So there's, Raywhite has a system called Nurture Cloud, which a lot of people are really excited about. It's a great system, don't get me wrong. But really at its core, what it's doing is just feeding people call lists, right? Like that's the big deliverable at the agent level. It does really good reporting stuff at a management level. But people just kind of go, I want that because they feel like the tech is going to solve my problem.
Yeah, they think of it as the silver bullet.
They think it's, but I can tell you now, most of those agents who really are like, oh, well, I can't prospect correctly because I don't have this tool that feeds me call lists. And granted, we actually are working on a solution for this, but it's not the point. Is, well, if you don't have the discipline to sit for 3 hours a day and prospect regardless, no propensity score lead tool is going to help you.
There's no substitute for the work that you have to
There's no substitute for the work, right? Like this is, it's always maddening because I've spent my life trying to figure out how to make real estate more systemized, more automatic.
Yeah.
It always comes back to sitting down and making the phone calls.
But you think that's the starting point everyone gets back to. Like you try and find a way, but you still have to just sit there and bang the phone sometimes.
And people try, the big one that I'm trying to deal with at the moment is people think you can hire a way out of it as well. They think you can go and
hire a junior to do it.
Hire a junior to do it. But like, they're not the X factor. They're not the person who's going to eventually have the relationship. Because if they could, why are they working for you?
Do you find the value of the guys bringing those people in? Is it to get the initial call or the initial introduction to them, then if it gets to a point it gets handed over? Or is the process they're kind of trying to get them to do the entire thing and just book them in?
A lot of the time they're trying to get them to do everything, right?
Yeah.
They think it's like, great, there's a human on this, and then they just ride them.
Yeah,
where's the
right.
pipeline? Why isn't there more leads coming in? I can light on listings this month. Like, well, how much time do you spend on the phone?
Yeah.
And the associate can't say that because they get the head bitten off the poor guy, but that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, 100%. But it's interesting you say, because that's something we're talking about within our business currently, is bringing on that junior agent, how much responsibility we give them on, whether it's the opening the doors for like the just listed, giving the sales analysis out, giving the like quarterly reports, and then if there's some level of warmth in that phone call, then it gets flicked over to someone more senior.
Yep.
Is that the process you would kind of see having value?
So there's no set way to sell real estate.
Yeah.
And part of that is because of the nature of the personalities, right? Because most of the time there is an element of who you are, not what you do in real estate sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? It's not everything. Like hard work trumps everything.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Like some of the best agents in the country are the ones who make the most phone calls, but a lot of the time there's an X factor, there's personal network, there's an ability to create content, there's something that person can do that's compelling.
Yeah.
And you have to build around that. So part of when people first join Kollosche is we do quite a deep dive going forward. This part of what I'm here to do is to do a deep dive. Okay, what's this person's strength, right?
Very cool.
And really highlight that. And we're working on which it's too early to talk about it. Plus also we've got to keep some track.
How much are you allowed to tell me?
Look, what I can say is a big thing I'm trying to encourage now, which is going to need some massaging and it's going to take some time for the agents to buy into this, I believe. But it's about trying to break down prospecting into reactive and active prospecting.
Yep.
And I'm going to use different terminology for it, but people think prospecting is, hey, we just listed this property.
Yeah.
And like, yes, really valuable, but it's different because if we think of that as your kind of reactive, right?
Yeah.
Working title. But that's the reactive one. There's something to talk about. There's a compelling reason to. You're probably going to do it because you're like, I've listed a property. I need to make the call. Right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that's something separate. It's something more strategic because the let's say it's the 50 closest owners should be getting we've just listed. It's about to go live. Hey, come to the VIP open.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to auction next week. Hey, we just sold it. Hey, by the way, we've got people who have tried to buy this. They want to buy something else similar to your property. Do you want to sell? Do you know someone else?
Yeah.
It's a really targeted campaign.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just treat that as prospecting, you're just going to kind of, maybe I should make a couple of just sold calls, and you've lost the strategic edge.
Yeah. There's no process to it either.
There's no process to it, right? And a lot of the time, this is where, while you never want to make the excuse that the tech replaces the work, but a lot of the tech right now isn't really set up well to remind them to make those calls.
Yeah.
Right? And God knows memory isn't always the strongest suit, and you've got 1,000 things on.
I've tried.
Yeah. Right? Like, as well.
Yeah.
Particularly in resi, I know commercial is a bit more of a numbers-based decisions. But in resi, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're selling someone's principal place of residence.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone's died, someone's divorced, someone's kids have left home, someone's having a kid, someone's married. Like there's usually a life event tied to
the attachment to it. Yeah.
So it's really emotional. So if you think the agent's job a lot of the time is how do you just keep up with the feelings of people? So then when they come back to the office and it's like, okay, now you got to remember to call these 16. It's harder to get into that space, but that's actually the most critical part of it. Right?
Yeah.
And so whereas active prospecting is where you have a more strategic reason to call people.
Yeah.
And you do so from like, okay, I need to touch everybody in my marketing area at least 4 times a year with a quality touch point.
Yeah. How do you define a quality touch point?
So there's, quarterly market reports, specific hyperlocal information, not a just listed, just sold. Like something specific. Hey, did you know there's been a zoning change to your area? Previously, yours was a single res block. Did you know now you can build 4 stories on your block, so your block's worth more money?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a really good phone call.
Yeah.
Or, hey, there's roadworks going in. But like, I know you're probably frustrated, but have you seen the plan for what they're doing over this estate? That's going to raise average sale price in the area. Yeah. Whatever it is, right? Like, like giving you information that's not just a, hey, I want to see your house. It's a, I'm an expert. Yeah. Right? When I was speaking about social media, and I think this carries across, for me, there was 3 categories of content. There was success, expertise, and community. Yep. And success was testimonials. It wasn't like, look at my,
look at me.
Yeah, look at my leather shoes and no socks and my Bentley that I've rented. And, don't get me wrong, like, I like style as well. But point is that's not.
I was going to say, the Bentley I was on.
Mate, too many highway miles at this point. But it's really more about how do your actions have they positively affected somebody else? Yeah. That's what people want to see. Yeah. Like I've got no issue. If you want to have flash, strut Lambo, go hard, like awesome, man, you do you, right? Yeah. But like that shouldn't be the forward messaging. Yeah. That like you can present that way and that can be you, especially if it's authentically you. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. But you don't want that to be what you're projecting as that I'm successful because I'm rich. Yeah. Right? Like you want it to be like that as a secondary thing where it's like, wow, it's flashy, but man, he really seems to care about people. Like you get that, then all of a sudden it's great. You've got the Italian car and loafer.
It's a byproduct of something you're actually passionate about as opposed to why you're doing something.
Yeah, it's like, I'm successful and I'm enjoying my success, but what makes me successful is how I affect my deals and what I'm leaving people with and the success I'm bringing to other people. Yeah. You capitalize on that. Yeah. And so that's success, right? It's really, if you want to keep it simple, it's testimonials. Yeah. Right? Like lots of video testimonials. Expertise was back to what I was talking about before, the same kind of thing as like active prospecting, right? Where it's relevant market information, it's talking about interest rates beyond the rate go down, rate go up, like why are the rates going up and down? What's the projections and like, talking about international events that affect your area, talking about local events.
I think, and even that, it's diving into that. How does that specifically affect your segment of the market? Not everything's built equally, right?
Not everything's built equally, right? Yeah. Like someone who's selling apartments in the city is going to have very different information to someone who's selling mansions in St. Lucia. Yeah. Right? Like they're very different. They're very different factors. Yeah. Very different segments. And then you've got community, which is make content that has nothing to do about real estate, just to do about the area. Yeah. Don't even mention you're a real estate agent. Right? Yeah. Because they know. They're following you, they know. It's probably in your username anyway.
I can tell by how you're dressed, it's fine.
Yeah, right? I'm probably going to swear at some point because I've got an awful mouth.
Go hard, it's fine. Yeah.
It's basically part of my brand.
It's authenticity, mate.
Exactly right. So, but like it's once you can show that you're a community member, particularly in resi, like, and again, I appreciate that. I appreciate that this isn't immediately relevant to commercial, but you'll know where the combines are, right? Yeah. You'll know where the relationship is, and this is just a framework that worked for me, right? Like steal and rob and do whatever you want. Yeah. But once you can show that you're a member of the community, and I guess in commercial the equivalent would be like showing that you're a member of the same circles. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That you're involved with the same suppliers, that you have a relationship that they can relate to. Yeah. I'd imagine was the combination there. But that's the presentation, like, at least I was recommending.
Well, look, I think, and this is the interesting part that I see the correlation between resi and commercial, is a lot of people do think that don't get me wrong, the decisions made on purchasing or selling a commercial asset generally are a little bit more finance based or based on the economics of whatever the business is, whatever the theme is. Ultimately, we're still people doing business with other people. And I think that's the thing a lot of people forget about. If you're a dick, people still don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
Even if the economics stack up, because if the economics stack up for one person, most likely in the commercial world, there is another 2, 3 or 4 people that can make those economics stack. It's a little bit different to where someone might just love that kitchen or love that aspect.
Yeah,
and that's
there's
the one
there's the
person.
emotional price.
Exactly right. And that's probably the benefit for us in the commercial world. If you can get along with people and show them that you're in the same circles, communities, you care about the same things, we can all, generally speaking, we've all got access to very similar or the same buyers or the same circles of people that will buy that asset. And I think that's the piece that's forgotten, is ultimately people still want to work with you. Or still have to want to work with you.
We trade in confidence.
Yeah.
And that's both industries. That's,
Agreed completely.
Most sales in particular, but it's when you're dealing with an asset of that price as well.
Yeah.
Really, what you're doing is you want that person to know that they can trust the advice that they're getting from you, right?
Yeah.
That's huge. Like, I've bought from agents where you just know they're an idiot, and it's not being, I'm not going to but there's you go through things sometimes where you're just like, wow, like, but at some point in their relationship with that owner, they've established trust.
Yeah.
Regardless of their skill set.
Yeah.
At some point, they've established trust. And this is where, even going back to systems that we were talking about before, whenever you see real estate systems, they always talk about prospecting and pipeline like they're the same stage.
Yeah.
Right? They're not. Like, lead generation and prospecting and your pipeline, because normally what will happen is you'll separate prospecting, prospecting include pipeline, you'll put out like the listing presentation.
Yeah.
It's just a whole piece of it.
Yeah.
And how you sell the property. That's I've been bucking against that, trying to figure out how I don't have those 3 steps, but it really is about those 3 steps. But shifting pipeline from prospecting into actually winning the listing, I think it's really important, because if you're at the point that you're having to win the listing at the presentation, you've missed your opportunity.
Yeah.
Because now you're competing. You're competing with other agents. You've got to establish that trust. Years.
Yeah.
Before you even get to the presentation. It should be given. You should just send them a DocuSign and it's done. Yeah. That's the best listing. The best listing presentation is the one you never have to give.
Yeah.
And while, don't get me wrong, the skill of listing is really important, right? Because you're not always going to be going in unopposed.
Yeah.
And that's where you can really, that's where you justify the extra 0.5% commission. It's where you justify the, Kollosche marketing it represents the quality of what you get.
Yeah.
But there's people out there that can offer half the price in the marketing, but we still consistently win the listings.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to demonstrate the value. And a lot of that happens at the listing table. But ideally,
I was going to say, do you find they have to have, for want of a better way of saying it, they don't have to have that same level of ability in the listing presentation if they've already built that trust factor before? Yeah.
Right? If you were just an absolute entity in your community, right? Like you're a known person beyond names on bus stops, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're really known to the community and you have the results and you have regular communication with everybody, that's what attraction is. You talk about the attraction agent, and they misconstrue what that means. Yeah. Like everyone just goes, oh, you're big, so everyone's just going to call you. It's like, no, it's like that. You haven't gone into the hundreds of touch points that person has had with your brand.
It's funny you say that, because I was thinking one of the things I want to talk about, because you hear people try and replace the outbound prospecting with the, I want to become an attraction agent. And they start that with, I just post lots on social.
Work out your cost per lead.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's if you were to say, you could do it. Yeah. You start tomorrow in Resi and go get listings if you want to spend $500,000 a year on AdWords and Meta advertising. Yeah. You'll find listings. I don't know if you'll get your investment back. Yeah. But you'll find listings.
But this thing, you might get in the door.
You might get in the door.
You might not get it.
Yeah. You might not get it because you haven't actually built a relationship. You're just present.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I better call them.
And I think that's the difference. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas attraction is such a misnomer, because people look at like Michael, so he's an attraction agent, which he very much is. Yeah. But that's discounting the 3 decades.
Years of performance.
Yeah. It's not like in the relationships that he's got. And, he's got a team that's regularly making the calls. He's working his pipeline. Like he's at the point now where he can delegate some of that cold and warm prospecting because his personal network and his pipeline is so strong that he can do that all day. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only time that you can say the associate can take over prospecting is when you just physically don't have time. Yeah. And even then, some of the best agents I ever worked with, that was still their priority. They delegated some pipeline work.
Yeah, true.
Because it was like, no, I'm the one that needs to be on the phones with the people who don't know what we're about, because no one's going to be able to get them into the pipeline like I can.
That's the difference in taking responsibility for it too, isn't it?
Yeah, so like people aren't here for the associate.
Yeah, yeah,
They're noise, right? Like, and there's some great associates out there.
Yeah.
But they're not going to replace the value of the connection the lead agent.
I was going to say, they're still at that G face for a reason.
Because if they were, why would they take a 20% cut from you and then go get a full split from the office?
Yeah.
Like it's like,
Yeah, it's funny when you break it down from the logical perspective. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But I think a lot of people. Do you think it's ego that overruns that, or just like laziness, or they just?
You know, it's the industry. The industry attracts a certain level of ADD, right? Myself included.
Present at the table.
Yeah, which you will know me. But because of that, it's a very reactor stimulus kind of role.
Yeah.
You know, that's their strengths. Like the best people in real estate generally come out of like sports.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a lot of the time it's people who either just weren't quite there, or they've had an injury and they fall into real estate, but they've got that like, I wake up, I train, I do, I repeat, I go.
It's a discipline and competitive
life.
Yeah.
Right? That's why there's a lot of ice baths in real estate, right? Which, granted, ice baths are great, but you know what I mean? Like there's that mentality really fits. Yeah. And to be honest, sometimes those people struggle outside of real estate. It's a role that is really suited for it.
Works well for it.
Works well for it. But those are the type of people that would really struggle to sit and do very long-term reward activities.
Yeah.
Prospecting is like you're speaking to someone that you may not have a transaction for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But you're starting the relationship now.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel important. Right?
Yeah.
It's urgent, right?
Yeah, I get
And
you.
so there was something I was told, I think old man was one that said it, but it really stuck with me, whereas there's like important tasks and urgent tasks.
Yeah.
And what's important very rarely feels urgent.
Yeah.
And what feels urgent very rarely is important.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And
very true.
And the task that you should be delegating is more about like trying to bring in buyers that haven't inquired on the property, doing very, very entry level prospecting. So just doing the, hey, we'll be in the street next week, do you want an appraisal to people you pulled off IP Dart.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that type of stuff. That's what they do. They do the bulk, low impact, high volume communication. Right?
Yeah.
That's the associate.
Yeah.
If they're at the point that they can be having high quality conversations, well, it's time to start figuring out whether or not they should be learning how to list and become an agent for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's letting them out from underneath you to start pushing them somewhere else.
Exactly. And that's how I used to hire.
Yeah, true.
It's my favourite recruitment strategy. I'd go up the associate of the selling principal.
Yeah.
Because you know they're stuck.
It's so fair, that.
You know that person is stuck. They're never getting promoted.
Yeah.
That's my favourite target. You go after them, and they've probably got 10 years of experience as an associate.
Yeah.
And you go, do you want to be an agent? And they're like, oh, no, I'm like, it's really great that you're loyal, but like, I can offer you an exclusive marketing area and a marketing budget, and we'll support and train you, and we'll give you the title, and off you go.
Yeah.
And like, most of the time we get them. It takes time, but we get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people just end up feeling stuck. So,
So
I don't think it's like, yes, you could say it's laziness, but I think it oversimplifies it.
Yeah, great.
But yeah.
That's true. In its root sense.
Yeah. Right down to the core, there's definitely an element there. And this is where, I guess to segue, this is where I think accountability is what residential real estate does really well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you were maybe segue rather than me. But
no, dive in. Yeah, 100%. That's why you're here, not me, mate.
This is, and this was like, I called myself an accountability coach when I was coaching, because people just go, I need accountability. I'm like, great. Like now I'm in, let's start mucking around with shit, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like it was easier for me to explain, what do you do? I keep you accountable to your goals. I help you plan and I keep you accountable to them. And people go, yes, please, thank you, give that to me.
Yeah.
And then once I'm in, I'm like, great, let's look at your CRM, what's up with your
you go
providers.
Which
often, again, the agents wouldn't feel was important, but as much as, yes, they were making more phone calls and going more listing presentations, the time they were saving to make more prospecting was contributing to that as much as the accountability was.
Yeah, right.
You know, like having to just not think about parts of the business that they previously had to spend an hour or two on every day.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's another 20 odd people you can speak with.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the thing. It's, what is it? As soon as you change tasks, it takes you a minimum of 15 minutes to get your mind back on the task.
Exactly.
If you're jumping from 4 or 5 different things, you could chew through 2 or 3 hours and not really get a lot done.
Yep. Exactly.
Feel busy.
Yeah.
But you've done nothing.
So, accountability and training is is a big thing in resi because you've got you had Lee Wood and Michael Sheargold.
So when you see talking about tech,
Yep.
and how much of an emphasis I guess Kollosche has and everything that you've always talked about in the past, that from the time we've known each other, where do you see the future? Yeah, couldn't tell. Where do you see the future of agency going in terms of that implementation of tech? Everyone loves the word AI.
Yep.
I'm kind of almost sick of hearing the word AI.
Yeah.
But I think it's almost that, how does that get implemented?
I think it's about understanding what AI is good at.
Yeah.
And I think if you're selling investor stock under say 750, right, even maybe up to $1 million, because I mean let's go very far these days. But if you're selling stock that your 2.5% compared to his 2.5%, which now they're doing more like 1 point something percent in these deals, isn't actually much of a difference.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's very much a square meterage equation.
Yep.
All the time.
Yeah.
I think that segment may be disrupted.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that I want to put money on it, right? Because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone thought REA would take over that segment as well, and they never did it. Never thought that Zillow could do it. Never thought, that
there'd be someone
things.
coming.
So there's so many of these everyone would thought would disrupt, but this feels different because it can make a phone call. I think that segment could be in trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think anybody right now who is above that segment, who's leaning too heavily on AI to do like outbound calling or prospecting or anything, is probably not going to see the benefit.
Yeah.
Because once you're on your second or third home and you've got a bit of business acumen, you're a bit smarter, you want a personal relationship. Because I think what AI is going to, I probably didn't drive that home well enough. Like the automation of the client experience, I believe, will affect the lower segment more because it is more formulaic decision.
Yeah, more process driven.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas after you cross a certain level, it's a more feelings-based decision.
Yeah.
Right? Like going back to those reasons we were speaking about before.
Yeah.
And so if the optimist in me says that AI is going to drive the value of a human relationship up.
Yep.
Whereas, the pessimist in me says they'll take over everything.
Destroy us all.
Yeah, who cares about real estate anyway, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty eternal optimist because it's better to be that way, right? I feel as though there are support positions in the industry, I think, already getting tighter on. I don't see the admin assistants being threatened too heavily, at least the business manager, the like more EA style senior ones being disrupted because they're managing the person as much as the team.
Yeah.
The task rather. Yeah. And someone's also got to work the systems as well. It's probably not going to be the agent.
Yeah, exactly. There still needs to be a human element to that.
Exactly. So there's like one to many prospecting that AI will be really good at. And some of that first level prospecting, we've spoken about the associates before.
Yeah.
AI's getting pretty good. Like I was listening just the other day to a AI call center that sounded very real.
True. Like mapping call.
It sounded very real. I know because I know what to look for, but if you don't know what to look for, it's getting close. And ChatGPT 5 is coming out.
Yeah.
It should be any day, but whenever they decide to bring it out.
Yeah.
And then there'll be 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It'll get
to where it'll be in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, it's going crazy. So I think now more than ever is the time to be focusing on the community, right? To creating human connection to the community, because that's something that AI can never replicate. Like it can't replicate being seen down the local footy club.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't replicate that. It can't replicate the feeling of the person in the room. It just can't, at least not for now.
Yeah.
It definitely can't do that. And so the industry is always going to, nothing's going to change about the industry regardless of what tech comes into place. It's always going to be contact a lot of people, create trust and sell a house.
Yeah.
That's always going to be there. Whether or not that means you have to spend as much time building CMA reports and doing vendor reports and, where I see the value coming in for us is all about the better metrics and better note taking and better action items off the prospecting calls.
Yeah.
That's immediate. That's the immediate change that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know how it is for you guys, but I imagine it's exactly the same, where you've got a CRM that people use intermittently and they use their mobile phones and they've probably just got emojis next to people's names on their phones and that's their system.
Yeah.
Which works for some. I've met a $7 million agent where that's his whole system. He just has emojis in his phone and it's very hard to tell that person you're doing it wrong because
But it's also very hard to train someone else within the organisation.
But you can't
how
repeat
to-
that. Yeah. He's got that because he just will literally, if he's got a spare second, he'll be on the phone.
Yeah.
Which trumps everything, right?
Yeah.
Like that beats everything
the hard
else.
work still beats out.
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
else.
It doesn't matter what you do. The fact
Yeah.
is like he's probably speaking to 50 people a day outbound prospecting. Just
Yeah.
like literally, if he's any second he's got, it's bang on the phone.
Yeah.
Second he talks to an off-market listing, he's got his little emoji system. It's actually pretty efficient, to be honest, but it's not scalable.
Yep.
And there's no metrics.
Yeah.
We don't know how long he's been on those calls.
Yeah.
We've had an sentiment analysis done. Like this is where the call center experience I had. I'm really trying to figure out how to bring that into real estate.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I used to sell Vault platforms. So I go in and sell the platforms into these big call centers. And there's stuff that they've got. It will tell you how the other person's feeling during the call. It will change the script based on the answers that they're getting. It will automatically enter notes into the CRM. It will create action items off the back of it. You can using call center tech, your coach or supervisor can be listening to the call you're making to the other person and whisper instructions into your ear the other person can't hear.
Yeah. Right.
There's stuff that you can do, but now I've got to try and convince a real estate agent to sit in their computer using a headset and make a call.
Yeah. Not with the AirPods down at the cafe.
Not with their AirPods at the cafe, right?
But it is, 100%. But you see it from a business, pure business perspective. If you could push that through where the value sits.
So it's about, this is where we go back on the change management.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I know the question was about AI, but let me loop it around. I was at a conference recently where all these people are coming up giving these amazing ideas about AI, technology, automations that they're doing. And like microphone goes around and gets to me, it's like, what do you think? It's like, well, if they're not putting the information into the CRM correctly, none of this
Means
works.
nothing. Yeah. It can't analyze anything.
None of this works. There's even you look at like the propensity scoring stuff that's coming out, it's telling you when someone's ready to sell their house today.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to model that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to model someone's thinking about selling their house in 2 years.
Yeah.
You know? And so if you're already, if your prospecting now becomes, I'm calling the people with a 90 plus propensity score, you're too late.
Yeah, exactly. You've already missed it.
Yeah. You're way too late.
Yeah.
And then you'd think, oh, let's just call low propensity scoring, but that doesn't work either. So it's there's really cool AI stuff coming in around note taking. And, the issue now is about recording laws. So as well, how do you, because imagine making a prospecting call and saying, hey, just, this meeting's being recorded. My name is Old Mate. You've never spoken to me before.
Bye. Yeah. It's already hard enough as it is. Yeah.
And so it's all about balance in understanding what you can do, what's going to affect the client experience, but the first change of the business has to be get the agent to use the CRM, enter the data in, and then from there you can 100% look into automation. But in terms of how the industry is going to change, I don't think that much.
I was going to say, I think that's a good parting note on the whole thing is there's so many silver bullets people look at, but ultimately it's still going to come back to doing the work and putting data into the CRM.
Man, it's all calls.
Yeah.
Like, if nothing else, if all you do is just spend every minute of the day that you're not in a presentation, calling people saying you want to sell your house, which in your situation is do you want to move your lease, or same concept, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of this thinking goes across into.
But and this is the main part, mate. Like you can literally translate so much of that across. It's the same process. You just need to pick something and do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
Right.
What a way to wrap it up, mate. Doing well. Thank you very much, Matty. Appreciate you coming in there. I'm sure we'll do this again in the next couple of years, next couple of months. See what else is going on in the Kollosche world.
Yes.
Awesome.